Hey, what's up, family? Was just sitting here thinking about some things, and I wanted to speak on reparations today because it's a huge topic that's going on right now. Reparations for our people. We've been old for a long time, but let me tell y'all something. When you see black folks who claim to be so pro-black speaking down on reparations so bad, just understand and recognize who they really are. It's a fool's errand to do such a thing. You know, I've heard black people come out their mouth saying they'll mention reparations, but then every time they mention, they got to say, "Oh, well, they're not going to give us reparations anyway." Well, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Don't speak on reparations then. If every time you're addressing reparations, right after that you're always saying, "Well, they forget the reparations, they ain't gonna give it to us anyway." Well, why are you talking about it? If you believe that, keep your mouth closed. Okay? That's the best thing you can do. And focus on other things. Focus on other subjects that need to have light brought to it. Okay? That's the best you can do. But as for those of us who will not be muzzled, who will not be silenced, let me tell y'all how important it is. Why it's so important to speak on this matter about reparations, and why I speak on it in such a way. Some of you might think, well, PJ, you believe in the word and you know the Most High gonna do these things, and you know how hardened Pharaoh's heart was in ancient Egypt, and you say that these people are just as hard-hearted as they were, if not even more, this nation that we're being held hostage by now. Understand this, family. The word says that when God heard the groans and the moanings of Israel in ancient Egypt, then he had remembered his promise. Not that he forgot, but he had remembered his promise to their forefathers. And that's when he went out of his way to summon Moses and send Moses to tell Pharaoh to let his people go. Point blank. Now, did Moses have the mindset, well, God, I don't know. I've lived around these people all my lives, and I know they're so full of pride and stubbornness. You can't tell them nothing. They literally think they're God. Literally. Did he say that to God? Did he say, Lord, why are you asking me to ask this of these people when I believe within my hearts of hearts they're not going to take heed to me anyhow? No, Moses didn't do that. We continue, and we stop crying out against injustice because we feel like we're not going to get justice? Is that the same logic we apply to our oppression? Imagine if we applied that same logic to our oppression. Well, we know the judge is corrupt. We know the whole system is corrupt. So we're just going to stop asking for justice. We're going to stop fighting for what's right. We're going to stop crying out against our oppressors. See, understand the significance in us crying out against our oppression, us exposing the workers of iniquity, us exposing this wicked nation and what these people have been doing to us for so long. It's significance in that. It's significance in saying, hey, reparations, because what are we saying when we say reparations? We're saying that we acknowledge the wrong that has been done to our nation, and we're asking, we are demanding we get paid what's rightfully due to us. We're demanding that you do everything in your power, because you can't give our forefathers and foremothers back. You can't unrape our little boys and little girls. You can't unlynch our uncles, our aunties, our nephews, our nieces. You can't do that. But what it is in your power to do, that is what you ought to do. And you ought to do it in full measure. Not just full measure, but pressed down and overflowing Is what those of morality would do. Is what those of a conscience would do. Is what those of conviction would do. Because if we had the Spirit of the Most High God, we should be convicted for our wrongs. We should feel bad for our atrocities that we've committed on others. How much more should America be? Remorseful and repentant. So us crying out for reparations and crying out against oppression, that is us. That is the equivalent of Israel, who we are, moaning and groaning. See, I moan and I groan not so much because I think our oppressors are so attentive to my moaning and groaning and exposing their wickedness. No, I moan and groan because I'm very full aware that the Most High hears every single word that comes out of my mouth and sees every single thing that I do and knows the pain and aches of my heart. So yes, we're crying out against our oppressors and we're demanding what's ours, because Moses, he wasn't sent to Pharaoh to say, Pharaoh, God said, the God of Israel said, can you please let his people go? Well, it's just a suggestion, Pharaoh. No. Moses was sent to Pharaoh with a direct command. And that was this. Pharaoh, the God of Israel says, let his people go. So the more we cry out for reparations, the more we cry out against our oppression, the more we cry out to our Father before our Father, the more he hears, the more his wrath is stirred concerning those who we're crying out against. Just like a father, just like an earthly father. How much worse do you think my punishment is going to be upon those who have done wrong to my son when I hear him constantly crying out to me? When I hear him constantly pleading? How much more of my wrath do you think his enemies are going to see? Think about that. So we're not doing it so much so for our oppressors, for the system of white supremacy. We say it and we speak it because those of us who are in the faith, we know that God hears. And the more God hears his children crying out, demanding what's theirs, and demanding justice, the more angry he becomes. Not toward us, but toward his crying children, whose oppressors won't take heed to them for 1 second without justifying the oppression they're placing upon his people. Oh, no, sir, no, ma'am. Don't be foolish, family. We're going to fight for what's ours till the day we die. May we do so. My Messiah, my Redeemer, says, be faithful unto death. And there's so many people that's playing like they so pro-black, this and that. They ain't got no faith. They don't even have a God. And the God that they do claim, they're not trying to rally people to their God. They're trying to rally people to their own glory and their own vanity, to their own so-called historical excellence, if you see what I'm saying. Don't be deceived by the foolish, family. Anyway. Finna beat up son a little bit. He'll beat me up earlier. Well, he watches his phone now. He watching little kid programs now, so he probably gonna be aggravated. Now get out of me. I don't want to play. Anyway, family, y'all be well.